Hi there guys, you join me with a Volkswagen Golf Black Edition. I'm super excited to share this car with you. Go for a good drive. Already taken it out for a good drive. Yeah, the big thing about this car, as I'll go around the back, is the fact it's got 4Motion. This is something that's not actually available on any other car other than the Golf R. So to have it in this is super special. But yeah, I'll take you for a drive, share you all about this car. But I'm super interested because I think this car could be better than a GTI and an R. 4-wheel drive, 2 litre, 190 PS, 7-speed. I think this is something really worth checking out. So yeah, join me and I will share with you this super amazing car on a drive. So yeah, let's go for it. So you join me in a Mark 8 Black Edition. Yeah, I'm super excited to kind of share this car with you. And yeah, this is potentially not one of my typical choices because obviously I'm more in for the sporty stuff. I love my GTIs, I love my Rs, I've shared them plenty on the channel. I love my hot hatches. But this car really intrigued me. Now, a lot of people might not even know about it, but essentially Volkswagen released this last year, sort of around September 2023 time. And I was super intrigued when I heard about this car. So I reached out to my Volkswagen contact and asked them if I could give it a go. And yeah, and they had one available on their press fleet. So I've had a really good time actually driving around this car to really share with you about it. And yeah, basically tell you my overall thoughts. Now, the big thing for me is that it's got 4Motion. And that essentially means it's got essentially 4-wheel drive. It's a Haldex system, which gives you a lot more traction on the rear. And you know, it's a gorgeous sunny day today, but that's a huge thing, particularly in the UK. This car in particular has the 2-litre engine from Volkswagen, petrol powered, 190 PS in this, guys. I believe it's very similar to what is in a Polo GTI actually. 236 pound-foot of torque and plenty quick enough. 0 to 60 they say 6.7, so it's more or less on par with a GTI really. But this car's sort of under the radar. Now the Black Edition, the fact that it's, well, the main kind of part around the whole Black Edition for me, you can get it in different engines. You can get it in a 1.5, you can get it in a 2 litre. I'd get it in 2 litre. You can actually get it in a manual as well, not for the 2 litre or the 4-wheel drive. This is the car that I would go for. Really well spec'd actually. Really nice kind of spending some time with it. Yeah, there's lots of, like there's so many different things that I can kind of say about the car. More than enough power, more than enough traction to kind of get going. It sounds really good, but you know, I'll take you on a drive and really give you a feel of it. It's actually quite nice with special editions like stuff like the Black Edition, because you can just go for sort of like one model, one trim, and you don't have to worry too much about the options. And that is exactly the case in this car. For example, basically this car only has 3 options. The dynamic chassis control, which I would go for, really great, sort of interchanging between the modes. Sport mode, individual, which in individual I have it set so the dampers are in sort of like its more comfortable setting. That's one thing I'd go through. This guy is in Moonstone Grey, which is another option, and keyless entry is also an option, but those are the only 3. Everything else really pretty well spec'd, to be honest. It comes like an R line. It comes with sort of like the gloss black on the side. The styling looks great. And I remember when I tried one of the first Mark 8 Golf Rs, and his partner, she actually had an R line in Moonstone Grey at the time, and I actually thought that was the R. The R is obviously, well, unfortunately only available in 3 different colours: blue, black and white. This also has a few colours, looks really great in black, looks great in white too. It's really special in this grey, and I've got some really great pictures. Hopefully they come out really well, and you can kind of enjoy it. But shall we actually take you for a drive, and I'll talk and drive as I kind of go along. So yeah, let's go for a drive. Now, I love picking out the perfect Q car, and you might be thinking, Sam, what are you actually doing? You know, you like your GTIs, you like your Rs, but this is essentially just an R line. But it's so much more than that, and I love the 2-litre petrol engine. I love the kind of grunt that it kind of offers, and well, you're gonna kind of get to see that with me on the drive. Really been enjoying my time with it, and actually to have quite a few hours spent with the car has really like intrigued me. I had a little look on Auto Trader. There's hardly any of these Black Editions for sale, and I'm just sort of like, this is a car I'd look out for certainly in the future on the used market. But even as a new purchase, I'd really consider it, genuinely really consider it. I think it offers so much. It's below that sort of £40,000 tax market, which is quite important for a lot of people. A lot of my subscribers mention that to me actually, with what's happened with the GTI once you put some options on it, or the Mark 8R once you put some options on it. This car, I love it. It's got the same seats essentially as in a Mark 8R. It's really, really comfortable. The exact same steering wheel. The one things that aren't quite as sort of like, it hasn't got the 320 PS, it's only 190, plenty enough for me. Still got the 4Motion, so the traction is great. Particularly coming off things like roundabouts, it just picks up. The steering goes a little bit firmer in sport mode as well, and it's really, really good. I'm absolutely, I can't stop really smiling about it, because it's just a car that would last so long for the long run, and that's really, really big. Got some gorgeous roads which I'm familiar around here, just to really put it through its paces, and it just rides so good. It's on the 18-inch wheels. I believe they're called Bergamo. I'm going to say that right. Black alloy wheels, and you know what? It just allows that little bit of extra low profile for a little bit of extra sporty driving. And you know, I'm sort of like twisting and turning through here, and it's a load of fun. I'm just a big car lover, to be honest with you, and this is special. And the fact that it's got the 4Motion really intrigued me. There's not another Golf that they make other than the R in my known sort of history of knowing the Golf, which has the four-wheel drive. They normally save this for the Audi, so your Audi A3 with like the Quattros, you can get like the 40 TFSI and the 35, but they never really had it for the Golf. Golf has been front-wheel drive, so to have it in the 4Motion, the sleek looks. Hey, if you didn't know, you wouldn't know anything different from this to being even potentially a full-on R. It's super special, super like just a real Q car. The range is showing really good as well. As soon as I turned on the car, it said 450 miles. It's only a 50 litre tank, so range-wise, it's great. I actually, you know what? I've been getting on quite nicely with the infotainment. Once you learn what to turn off and what to turn on, so I turn off things like start-stop, that's just for me. I turn off lane keeping assist, particularly when I'm on some twisty roads to have some fun. And you just get on with it. It just drives, it does what it wants to do. I quite like it. It's the 7-speed auto, not quite a full-on Golf R automatic gearbox. You just get that little bit extra kind of delay potentially, or a little bit more jerkiness at slower speeds. But overall, I'm really liking it. Once you're flowing, flow's good. It flows really good. I'm super interested to see what the new facelift Mark 8.5 Golf is going to be like. But spending some time in this, the pre-facelift, actually makes it a bit more of a Q car. Potentially, if you went down to your Volkswagen dealer, you'd be able to get a fair bit off this car. That's just what I'm kind of predicting. Normally when a facelift comes out, they potentially want to move along some of the stock of the older models, certainly the older facelift models. But yeah, I mean, what a day. It is a car that I would genuinely take out. You know, I love my driving. I love you know, just finding a nice fun road to go out on. And you know, I wish I had a cameraman on the side. You can probably just see from some of the camera angles, it's so nice around here. The car really does shine. Really does shine. It looks great, and it works so much better as a daily than a full-on R, I would say. Mainly because of the suspension. It's just super compliant. It's a little bit more relaxing actually in here overall. The interior is quite grey, but you can change a lot of the ambient lighting with which can like brighten things up. Very customizable, highly customizable, almost too customizable potentially. But let's go back on that road because it was super fun, and yeah, I've got more to share about this amazing little car. So would I consider this as an actual alternative to a GTI and an R? Or an R? Genuinely I would. I actually think this is potentially better than a GTI because of the traction, because it's the similar kind of speed anyway, and the GTI has always been that Q car anyway. Yeah, I'm just super intrigued about it. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of why I wanted to spend time with it. Is it like a real alternative to a full-on R? Well, I mean, first of all, price-wise, it is a fair substantial amount cheaper, particularly when you get everything in combined, sort of economy and everything added up. It's a real good alternative and a real amount of fun. The biggest thing, because I have a Mark 7 Golf R myself, you get that traction off the line, and particularly for normal driving, you know, we're around Milton Keynes, you've got plenty of roundabouts and bits. This is great. It just works. If you had a GTI, an R, and this Black Edition sitting alongside each other, if you had one last drive you wanted to drive on a car, I'd probably choose something like a GTI Club Sport, to be honest with you. If you wanted the one car to do everything, you'd look at the 4Motion, those two. And with this being the only other alternative, it makes it a hugely good proposition. You know, I'm filming this in late April 2024, and it's, other than today, it's been very wet, very, very cold. The 4Motion is the big thing for me, and that's what intrigues me the most. And I think it's great. I think it's brilliant, and just a super fun car. Now I'll play around a little bit with the modes actually, just to share with you. I'm going to stick it in comfort mode, which I haven't spent too much time in, I'll be honest. But essentially it does sort of soften the suspension. The steering goes super, super light. The gearbox then becomes a lot more sort of like just easy going, basically. In fact, it basically coasts a lot of the time in sort of neutral, it seems. It just kind of does its own thing. But my time spent driving it, I never found any issues with it, you know, lacking speed. It felt like it was still responsive enough and would go where kind of you wanted it to go. And yeah, that's nice in sort of like a slow mode. I'll be honest with you, I've been spending most of my time with this in sport mode. You can have individual, and I set individual so it is comfort DCC and everything else in sport. But in sport, you can play around with the paddles as well. It just makes things more responsive, it holds the gears longer, the suspension goes a lot firmer. You have all the modes to kind of choose from to set it to your preference. That's the thing. It's whatever you like, and I'm very much for the people watching, you know, like, share, subscribe, if you want to get involved in, you know, it's a community channel at the end of the day, and I'm happy to help you out in the comments too. What works for you? And for me, this works really, really well. Rarely, you know, other than on a really, really fun road, it's a flighting experience to really experience the 300 horsepower in, or even say like the 260 odd you can get in a GTI these days. And with the front wheel drive you do lose the traction, whereas something like this, you can use all that 190. It's super nippy, really, really quick, particularly off the line. It feels super planted, being a little bit heavier with the Haldex. Yeah, I'm absolutely sold. Like, honestly, people are watching this just thinking, Sam, what are you on? But you know what? I'm having the time of my life in this Black Edition, and the fact that there's only a couple for sale basically on Auto Trader, I'm not so sure it's the most go-to car that everyone's going to go for. But as a Q car, I can see it really, really working, and particularly for my audience, trust me, I'll be keeping an eye out on this car. You know, I'll be honest, I like sort of like a 2-year-old kind of car. You know, once the depreciation's kind of been taken away, it's everyone's personal preference. What an amazing car to just kind of see you through. It's got that 2-litre petrol engine, which sounds really good. It makes a noise. This is pretty much a 2024 car. It's done 2,700 miles. You know, it just feels built really, really well. I was quite concerned, like, would the brakes be big enough? And it's like, brakes feel fine. Is it actually going to be quick enough at 190 PS? It's like, yes. How's the gearbox? Good. It's all good. How's the looks? I think it looks so good. I parked it up actually along here as well, and it just looks so in keeping, like on the side of the road, watching making sure you don't curb those 18-inch wheels, and particularly as they're in black. Works for like a sleepy village, you know, which is exactly what we're passing through at the moment. Yeah, it's a smile car, and I love cars in 2024 that they're still making, Volkswagen are still making, which add an element of fun, add an element of just that little bit of dynamism because of the 4-wheel drive, because it pushes you in the rear. It's just very, very nice, very, very effortless. You don't have to work too hard with this car, and yet when you find a nice road, you can have some fun. It's a fun Volkswagen to drive, and I've really got on with it well. and it's arguably one of the most fun cars, most appealing cars to me that I've driven. I was so curious beforehand, and having spent, you know, a decent amount of time with it, I'm even more curious to think, you know what, wow, yeah, I get this kind of car. It feels in keeping certainly with my kind of personality, and if you subscribe to my channel you might have a similar kind of vein. You know, I'm not someone who's going to have a hot hatch and go flat out all the time. You know, I like my cars, I like to look after things, you know, but when you find the time, yeah, it's good to use it. But this is that car that works so well cruising on the motorway, cruising on a back road even if you wanted to, or pushing it a little bit hard. Or, you know, if it's like busy and you need to get out, Milton Keynes is packed with cars and roundabouts. This is just so good. I think it looks great in the colour, and yeah, my face kind of tells it all. It's a fun car. There's not masses of feel to the steering, but I've spent a lot of time in Mark 8Rs, and there's not that much feel in the steering of those cars either. Really cool, really great experience. And I know this guy might be a bit of a left field if you're watching it, but if you're quite intrigued about the Black Edition, hey, I'd give it a go, see what it's like. You know, it's just, for me, it's something that Volkswagen probably should have done quite a while ago. That 4Motion is something which makes a huge difference. I've noticed it in the dry, I've noticed it with the traction. I can only imagine what it's like in the wet, having a 4Motion car myself. Yeah, top work. I'm just trying to think of all the kind of things that I can kind of say more about this car. Yeah, I feel like refinement's good, speed's good, brakes are good, steering's good. It's a big car, it's a practical car, it's a Golf. It's that one car to do everything and to just work for your life. And that's cool. And yeah, it's got the styling tweaks. It's obviously a less insurance group than some of the more like out there hot hatches. Yeah, what a great car. Turning circle and maneuverability is really good as well. Yeah, it makes me smile. You know, I don't know what's going to happen in the world of kind of like electric and hybrid and the way things are going with potentially even AI, you know, in Volkswagen's new infotainment, it's with ChatGPT. But what I do know is I'm sitting in a car which works really well. It's got a 2-litre petrol engine which does the job, you know, it does the job. It's quick, it's fast, it's fun, makes a nice little noise. The whole car looks really good. I'm a big fan of that sort of incognito fast car. Whereas the GTI has the flashes of red, this has the flashes of, you know, basically the gloss black parts on the side. It has the grey sort of flashes, the R-line badge. You know, but if you then you sort of see the 4Motion, you're like, oh, that's interesting. I like that badge on the back. That's what this is all about. It makes sense. You know, it just rains now all the time. It's generally cold, and if you're in the UK, I think you've got to be looking for that sort of 4Motion. That's just what I would go for, and I think they offer so much more than the front-wheel drive alternative Golfs or whatever other front-wheel drive car you're going to go for. Look out for the four-wheel drive ones, and this is one of them. I don't really know the compromise. I think it, if anything, by making it slightly heavier, it makes it more compliant on the road. It's so much fun, even just sweeping along these roads. I'm smiling ear to ear. You know, Volkswagen aren't paying me to say anything. You know, I'll say how I feel, and I seeked out this car to kind of try. And you know, I was sort of like, oh, is it going to meet my expectations? And well, yeah, it really has. Really has. And I like a car that's quite simple. You know, you choose the Black Edition, you go for the adaptive dampers, you choose the paint. That's all I would be worried about. I think anything other than that, you know, what more do you need in a car like this? And for so many people, when you're sort of in sort of like a sleepy village, no one really sort of bats an eyelid. It's just another car, I suppose, to a lot of people. I mean, there's a Golf there, but I would always go for the more sort of like stylish spec. And that's what this feels like. Like, I love the way it looks, really, really do. And I saw some images of like the black one and the white one. I was like, damn, they look good as well. But I probably would have it in Moonstone Grey. It's a very nice colour, very, very nice colour. I'm going to take you to some amazing place. Basically, I'm around Woburn. I love spending my time around here. It's a gorgeous place. You've got like loads of deer and stuff. Hey, if you got this far in the video, I'll give you some advice on some nice locations to go. Whether it's nice locations for spot driving, or yeah, even nice walks and things like that. The Golf works. It's not super loud. It's not super out there. And that's what I like, but it just works. You just know it's going to work. You step in and it works. You know, you're not going to be worrying about certain other aspects that you would in other cars. So say like charging your car, or you know, too much complication in cars these days. It can feel quite overwhelming. I actually quite like the more slightly minimalist screens now. You know, I've been getting up to speed with it, and it's quite simple. You know, rev counter on the left, speed on the right. You can customise it however you want. I've got the nav set up on the left as well. You can see the gorgeous scenery around me. Yeah. I'm really liking it. Really, really liking it. You can play around with the paddles, but to be honest with you, it kind of just goes into manual mode. I haven't had any issues with it just leaving it in auto, letting it do what it wants to do. Really kind of taken away by the refinement as well. I think some of the quality's probably slightly gone down from the Mark 7, just some of the touch materials. But I love sort of like the side of the doors. They feel really, really good and really high quality. Like, it feels like a car which you wouldn't like, you know, people would come in and it'd be like, wow, this is actually all right. I mean, it's a bit grey, potentially a bit bland, but then you've got the ambient lighting to kind of poke that up and raise the kind of level of it. I'm looking around because I just love the area that we're in, and this car kind of works for that as well. Works really, really well. Wow, look at all the deer. Oh, they're so lovely. It's a nice and small car on the road. Cars are getting much, much bigger these days as well. This is my kind of car. Woo! Oh man, so much fun. I think it's good to have lane keeping assist off. As you can kind of see on these roads, they're quite tight, quite twisty, and you sometimes have to straddle a line or two. And it kicks down, and you're good. Oh, it's so cool. Yeah, think about the Black Edition. Seriously, if you're watching this review, give it a lot of thought. I've really enjoyed my time spending in it. I think it offers a lot. I think it's that one package, you know what you're going to get, and you got the 4Motion. That's my big kind of summary of it all. And if you have any questions of, you know, I'm going to spend even more time with it after I stop filming, you know, let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to help you out. I think the only probably thing is looking at it is the list price of this particular car, as I filmed this today on the 26th of April, is about £38,000 with the options, which is a lot of money. However, I have seen some Black Editions on Auto Trader, the 1.5s, for sort of like the high 20s. So there's options around there. I would look at a car like this, for me, in a few years' time, but that's just where I'm at my budget. But if you want to get a new car, you can get a deal on something like this, run it for 2 years, really worth considering. And yeah, I've really enjoyed my time in the Black Edition. So yeah, thanks so much to Volkswagen just for giving me the opportunity to spend plenty of time in this car after seeking it out. And if you have any questions, let me know. It is a community channel and I'm happy to help you out as best as I can. And just let me know what you think. Do you think this GTI or an R, given the real world, maybe if it's your last ever drive, you choose one of the other two, but in the real world, for the next, hey, 10 years, I reckon this car, I'd be looking at this. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, and even more so actually for probably the younger driver, insurance wise, this, and kind of running costs, this potentially works a fair bit better. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. I haven't seen too much information about this Black Edition, so I'll be happy to help you out in the comments. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you again next time. And if you're subscribed, welcome back. Look forward to hearing from you. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you in the future. But yeah, thanks everyone so much, and yeah, have a great rest of your day.